Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing the New Year, New Me book tag, which was originally created by Kevin Toll Reads. Now this tag is actually meant to be done at the start of the year, so I'm a bit late, but like we say over here, better late than never. Now I've been tagged by many different others to do this tag, so apparently a lot of people like to see me do this one. Now I don't remember everyone who did so, so I will keep it general here. And I will also tag a few people, and most of them have already done this tag, but it's more for you all to check out their channels. I think they are all wonderful people. So with that out of the way, this tag isn't just about hyped releases or massive TBR piles. It's about fears, growth, comfort, goals, and even a little bit of life outside of books. So I'll be talking about a book that intimidates me, one I want to start immediately, a book that changed me as a person, and a few reading goals for 2026 as well. So let's get into it. And the first prompt is uh, a book from my 2026 reading goals that scares me. Now that for me would be The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. Now it's not that I'm scared I won't like it. In fact, I suspect I might really enjoy this one. What intimidates me is what this book represents. It's the first book in the Wheel of Time, a series that is famously long and famously dense. And starting it isn't just picking up a book, it's committing to a multi-year reading project. And that's what makes it daunting. Now, I'm not a binge reader. I don't tear through series back to back. I read in publication order. I mix genres and I move at my own pace. So if I start this, I'm realistically looking at years of gradually making my way through it. Now there's something exciting about that, like standing at the foot of a mountain, knowing the journey will be epic. But there's also hesitation. What if I lose momentum? What if it doesn't click? And what if it takes over my reading life? Still, I think sometimes the books that scare us a little are the ones worth starting. And the second prompt is a book I want to start immediately. And on the complete opposite side, the book I want to start right now is The Dragonbone Chair by Ted Williams. This one has been described as a bridge between classic fantasy and the more modern fantasy. And that alone makes me incredibly curious. Now I love classic epic fantasy. I love the grand scope, the slower build, and the sense of myth, but I also appreciate the more morally grey characters and political complexity that modern fantasy often brings. And then there's the fact that the series was a major inspiration for A Song of Ice and Fire, which is one of my favorite series of all time. And that connection alone makes me want to see where George Martin drew inspiration from. Was it the tone, the structure, the character arcs? And it feels like discovering a missing piece of fantasy history, and that makes it hard to wait. The third prompt is a book that pushed me to reflect or grow as a reader last year. And for me that would be Contact by Carl Sagan. This wasn't an easy read for me. While I was reading it, I struggled quite a bit. It's very idea driven. It leads heavily into scientific discussions, philosophical debates, and long conversations about humanity's place in the universe. And at times it felt dry. And yet, after I finished it, I couldn't stop thinking about it. The ideas kept working in my mind. Questions about faith and science, about loneliness in the universe, and about how humanity reacts to the unknown. And it slowly transformed in my memory from the book I struggled with into one of my favorite reads of the year. And it reminded me that reading isn't always about immediate enjoyment. Sometimes growth as a reader comes from wrestling with something difficult and letting it change you over time. And the fourth prompt is an author I want to try for the first time in 2026. And for this one I picked Octavia Butler. Now there are many new authors I want to try this year, but she stands out. She is one of those names that keeps coming up whenever people talk about influential science fiction. And I've heard so much about her exploration of humanity, power, identity, and society. And as someone who reads a lot of classic sci-fi, I feel like this is a gap in my reading I want to close. Trying a new author always feels like opening a new door. You don't know what's behind it yet, but there's potential there for a new favorite, for a new perspective, and for a new direction in your reading. And that's exciting. Fifth question is a book or series I revisit for comfort. And for me that's The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. Now I'm not someone who rereads often. There are just too many books out there pulling at my attention. But I recently reread The Lord of the Rings, and it was a completely different experience than the first time. When I first read it years ago, I struggled a lot. The pacing felt slow, the descriptions felt heavy, but this time I appreciated it. The atmosphere, the weight of history, the quiet moments between characters, and the cost of victory. It felt like coming home to something I finally understood. And that's what comfort reading is, I think. Not just revisiting a story, but revisiting a version of yourself who reads it differently. And the sixth prompt is a favorite debut or first in a series that I read last year. And that was easily, for me, Magician by Raymond E. Feist, which was my favorite book I read last year. And this book surprised me in the best possible way. It delivered that classic epic fantasy feel, a large scope, memorable characters, clear stakes, but it never felt outdated or dull. It reminded me why I fell in love with fantasy in the first place. And sometimes you read something that just clicks. No struggle, no hesitation, just pure immersion. And for me, Magician was that book last year. And the seventh prompt is a specific reading goal for 2026. Now this might sound simple, but my biggest reading goal this year is to have fun. It's easy to turn reading into numbers, into checklists, into productivity, especially when you have a channel and you're thinking about content, reviews and schedules. But at the core of it, I read because I love stories. And so this year I want to protect it. If I'm not enjoying something, I'll allow myself to step away. And if I want to take my time with a long fantasy series, I will. And if I want to mix genres more, I will too. Fun first, everything else second. And the eighth prompt is a non-book related goal for 2026. Now outside of reading, I'm a very goal-oriented person. I like having something I'm working toward each year. Last year that was starting this booktube channel, for example. And this year my focus is on staying active and continuing to exercise. To be honest, I've started to notice that I'm getting a little older and maybe even a little slower. That's normal, but it doesn't mean I like feeling that shift too much. I play sports on a team and I really want to keep doing that, not just for physical health, but for the camaraderie, the routine and the sense of challenge. And staying consistent will hopefully keep me feeling healthy, both physically and mentally. So that was my New Year, New Me book tag for 2026. A mix of fear, excitement, growth, comfort and goals. Which honestly feels like a pretty accurate description of starting a new year. And if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I'll hope to see you again in the next video.